There's something I've been thinking about lately, something that doesn't get talked about enough. Have you ever found yourself in a moment where you needed support, and for whatever reason, family just wasn't there? Maybe they live far away, or they're busy with their own lives, or maybe things just aren't as close as they used to be, and in those moments, it's easy to feel alone. But here's the thing, family isn't the only source of support in our lives. In fact, after 60, there are pillars of support, stronger than family in some ways, that can lift us up, keep us connected, and give our lives real meaning. That's what we're going to talk about today, 6 essential pillars of support that can make all the difference in this chapter of life. These are the relationships, communities, and habits that don't just fill the gaps, they enrich our lives in ways we might not expect. And the best part? They're all within reach, no matter where you are or what your family situation looks like. So let's start with the first one because this one is so important, and yet so often overlooked. The first pillar? Friendships. Real, deep, intentional friendships. Now, I know what you might be thinking, making friends at my age? Isn't that something for kids or young adults? But here's the truth. Friendships after 60 can be some of the most meaningful connections we ever have. Why? Because these are the people who choose to be in your life. They're not there out of obligation. They're there because they genuinely enjoy your company, your stories, your laughter. Think about it. When you share a cup of coffee with a friend, when you call just to check in, when you laugh about something silly together, that's not just passing time. That's building a support system. These are the people who will celebrate your wins, sit with you during tough moments, and remind you that you're never alone. And the beautiful thing is, it's never too late to make these connections. Whether it's rekindling old friendships or finding new ones through clubs, classes, or even online groups, the opportunity is always there. Now, the second pillar is just as powerful, but it's one we don't always recognize as support, and that's purpose. Yes, purpose. You see, when we retire or when our day-to-day roles shift, it's easy to feel like we've lost something. But what if I told you that this is actually the perfect time to discover or rediscover what truly lights you up? Purpose doesn't have to be some grand, world-changing mission. It can be as simple as tending a garden, volunteering at the local library, teaching a skill you've mastered over the years, or even writing letters to brighten someone's day. When we have something that gives us a reason to get up in the morning, something that makes us feel valued and needed, that's a form of support unlike any other. It's the kind of strength that comes from within, but it's fueled by the impact we have on the world around us. And that leads me to the third pillar, community. Now, this one is a little broader, but stick with me because it's a game changer. Community is all about belonging. It's that feeling of walking into a room and knowing you're among people who get you. Maybe it's a faith group, a hobby club, a neighborhood association, or even an online forum where you connect with like-minded people. These are the spaces where we're seen, heard, and valued for who we are, not just for the roles we've played in our families or careers. And here's the thing about community. It doesn't demand anything from you. You can show up exactly as you are. Feeling quiet today? That's okay. Ready to share a story? They'll listen. It's this kind of unconditional acceptance that makes community such a powerful pillar of support. And the more we lean into these spaces, the more we realize just how many people out there are ready to walk alongside us. Now, we've covered 3 pillars so far: friendships, purpose, and community. But there are 3 more that are just as important, and they might surprise you. So let's keep going. Now, let's talk about the 4th pillar, because this one is something we all have access to, yet so many of us underestimate its power. And that's mentorship. Now, you might be thinking, mentorship? Isn't that for young people trying to learn from older generations? But here's the beautiful twist. After 60, mentorship isn't just about guiding others. It's also about letting yourself be guided. Think about it. There's a special kind of strength in being both a teacher and a student. Maybe you've got decades of wisdom in a certain skill, gardening, woodworking, even just navigating life's ups and downs. Sharing that with someone younger doesn't just help them, it reinforces your own sense of value. And on the flip side, maybe there's something you've always wanted to learn: technology, painting, a new language. Allowing someone to mentor you keeps your mind sharp and your spirit curious. It's a two-way street where everyone walks away richer. And here's the thing, Mentorship doesn't have to be formal. It can be as simple as striking up a conversation with a neighbor's grandkid who's struggling in school, or joining a class where the instructor becomes your guide. These connections remind us that growth doesn't stop at a certain age. In fact, it might just be beginning. Now, the fifth pillar is one that often gets overlooked because it's so quiet, so personal, but its impact is profound. And that's self-compassion. Let's be honest, life after 60 isn't always easy. Bodies change, energy levels shift. Some days, it feels like the world is moving faster than we'd like. And in those moments, the most important support we can have isn't from someone else. It's from ourselves. Self-compassion is that gentle voice that says, it's okay to rest. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay if today wasn't perfect. So many of us spent years caring for others, kids, spouses, parents, coworkers, that we forget how to extend that same kindness inward. But here's the truth. You deserve your own patience. You deserve your own forgiveness. And when you give yourself that grace, something amazing happens. You become your own safest place. That doesn't mean you don't lean on others. It means you stop being your own harshest critic. And that kind of support, it changes everything. Now, we've covered 5 pillars so far: friendships, purpose, community, mentorship, and self-compassion. But there's one more, and it's the glue that holds all the others together. The 6th pillar is gratitude. Now, I know gratitude might sound like just a nice idea, but stick with me, because when I say it's stronger than family, here's what I mean. Gratitude isn't just about feeling thankful. It's about actively recognizing the support that's already around you. It's the friend who calls to check in, the neighbor who waves when you pass by, the stranger who holds the door open when your hands are full. These aren't just small gestures, they're proof that you're not alone, even when family feels far away. And here's the secret. The more you notice these moments, the more they multiply. Gratitude is like a magnet for goodness. When you start a day by naming 3 things you're grateful for, even if it's just the sun coming through your window or a good cup of coffee, you train your mind to see the support that's always been there. And that's a kind of strength no one can take from you. Now, we've walked through all 6 pillars, but before we wrap up, let's take a moment to tie it all together. So here we are. We've walked through these 6 incredible pillars of support that can stand even stronger than family in this chapter of life. But before we finish, I want to share something important with you. These pillars, they're not items on a checklist. You don't have to chase them all at once. This isn't about adding more to your plate. It's about noticing what's already within your reach and maybe stretching your hand just a little further toward what could be. Let me tell you about my friend Margaret. At 72, she told me she felt invisible, like the world had moved on without her. Her kids were busy, her husband had passed, and she spent most days alone with the TV. Then one morning, she noticed a flyer for a community gardening project. She almost threw it away, but something made her go. That first day, her hands in the dirt, someone asked her advice about roses. Turns out she'd been an award-winning gardener in her 40s. By summer's end, she wasn't just growing tomatoes, she was leading the beginner's class, going out for ice cream with her new garden gang, and sending cuttings to her great niece in another state. She told me, "I didn't just find a hobby, I found my people again." Margaret's story shows us how these pillars work together. The garden gave her purpose. The classes became mentorship. The garden gang became friends and community. The pride she felt, that was self-compassion blooming. And when she started bringing homegrown basil to her neighbor, that was gratitude in action. She didn't set out to check boxes, she just took one small step, and the rest unfolded naturally. That's what I want for you. Not some overwhelming overhaul, but those small, brave moments where you say yes to yourself. Maybe it's reaching out to an old friend you've been missing. Maybe it's trying that watercolor class at the rec center. Maybe it's simply looking in the mirror one morning and saying, "You're doing okay." These are the moments that build your support system, one brick at a time. I'll leave you with this thought. The myth is that life after 60 is about slowing down. The truth, it's about deepening. Your relationships can be richer. Your impact can be more meaningful. Your joy can be more intentional than ever before. And while family will always hold a special place, now you know. There's a whole network of support waiting to be claimed, created, and celebrated. I'd love to hear which of these pillars resonates most with you. Or maybe you've discovered another source of support I didn't mention. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's make this a conversation where everyone leaves feeling a little less alone. And if this video spoke to you, hit that like button. It helps others find their way here too. Don't forget to subscribe to keep the circle growing. Until next time, remember, your life isn't winding down, it's opening up. Here's to building your unshakable support system, one connection at a time.